so this is Willie. He's been here for almost 30 days. He'll go home on Sunday. And he was here just to be desensitized to a bunch of things, kind of get away from home and to be lightly started. He just turned 2 in May, so he's a little baby. I wanted him to be really good with the saddle, not an issue. Someone sitting on his back, not an issue. And we did a little bit of walking, learning how to stop and back up, but I haven't spent a lot of time riding just because he's so young. Next year he'll be golden, to be officially broke out. I just want him to see somebody up on his back and kind of feel the weight, but that was about all we've done with that. He's going to do some ponying the next 5 days that he's here. He's going to be ponied on the trails. I've led him all over on the trails, and these are some of the things I'm going to show you we've worked on. Things that would be normal to a broke older horse that are sometimes scary to a baby. So the fly sheet was pretty scary. The fly mask wasn't that bad. The saddle and saddle pad actually weren't that bad, and this guy, he's very reactive right away, and then he calms right down once he trusts you and realizes that nothing's going to happen. So his initial reaction is like, oh my gosh, and then he's like, okay. So this grain bag is new. I haven't used it yet. I just flapped it on him a couple times before I turned the camera on, and he was a little nervous, so I'll be able to show you kind of something new with him. But I used a plastic bag, so it's not too worried about the plastic bag. I didn't grab that, but this is kind of a good simulation of it. So whenever you're starting desensitizing, I usually just stand off to their shoulder. You want to be about right here. So if they run forward, you're not going to get run over, and if they try to kick at it, you're not going to get kicked. So a perfect 45-degree angle to their shoulder is kind of what you want. And then I start just, if they want to sniff it, I'll let them sniff it, and then I take it away. If they want to sniff it, they can sniff it, and then I start just flapping it. So I'll just do it right here. If he gets nervous, I'm going to just stay with him. And once he stands still, I reward him by just stopping. And I'll go back to it again. If he were to move, I'm just going to stay flapping until he stands still for a good 5 to 10 seconds, and then I'll stop. So now I'm going to rub his shoulder with it. The shoulder is their neutral area, so I always rub their shoulder first. And then I'll work my way down and all over his body, his belly. And then I'll start kind of just flapping it on him. So if he wants to move, that's fine, but I'm going to just stay right here with him. Good boy. Good boy. Until he stands still. Like I said, this is a newer thing, so this is good. He wants to run around, run around. Good boy. Good boy. And then I'll go back to rubbing him with it. Bring him back a little closer. Same thing, I want to be able to kind of bang him with it a little bit. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. All this stuff is really good for the young horses to do, because you never know what you'll encounter on the trails or in the barn if it's a windy day and a feed bag blows down the barn. Good boy. So now I'm going to go the other side and do the same thing. Just flap it. Good boy. Rub his shoulder, rub him all over with it. Good boy. I'm going to try to flap him with it a little bit. Good boy. Good boy. if he wants. The wind's not going to help us. Good boy. Good boy. Since he got a little flinchy there. Going back over here. Since he got a little flinchy about me flapping him with it, I'm just going to flap him with it again until he relaxes. Boy. So his reactions to this bag are actually pretty good. When he first came the first few days, the things I would throw at him, he was like, oh my gosh, he got really nervous. Now he's learned to trust me and, oh, okay, every time I move, she keeps doing it until I stand still, so I need to just stand still. I want to be able to do it kind of all over. Kind of walk with it, and he stands. Oh boy. Hold it up here and shake it. Is that scary? That's scary. Yeah, a lot more of a reaction now. You just gotta watch their head. So he keeps trying to turn his head towards me, which I don't want. Ooh, it's kind of scary up here. I gotta bump his head out of the way because if he got scared and decided to jump on me, he would. I really want to stay here by that shoulder. Good boy, I'm gonna do it up here again. Rub him with it. Oh, it got scary all of a sudden. So we'll go back to flapping, something he was okay with. So see how he keeps trying to turn that head? You gotta make sure you keep his head out of the way. Good boy. Good boy. Oh my goodness. So whatever you find you're going to work with them with, you have to make sure you do it every day. And he'll get better at this every day. Like I said, this is his first day with this, so he's going to all of a sudden be scared of it randomly, which is normal. Rubbing with it on this side. Alright, so that's pretty good for him with that. Worked on was our fly sheet. We were pretty scared of this in the beginning. Same concept, I'm rubbing with it, throw it on him. This is what I did to start. He did the same thing he did with that bag. He was running around like, oh my gosh, there's a monster. And then he was pretty relaxed with it. So the first few times I did that, when I'd come out here with it, he's pretty used to this thing. So we can kind of just throw this on him and he kind of knows what it is. He's not too worried about that. He knows it's a fly sheet, which is kind of what you want to get them to. I did the same thing on both sides with it. Take it off, kind of throw it on him. But as you can tell, he's been wearing it. It's pretty dirty. Fly mask. My thoroughbred doesn't like the fly mask. So what I had to do with her, she was much more dramatic than he was. But first I just let him sniff it, rub it on him, and then I kind of will cover their eye a little bit and rub him. If he was backing up and getting all nervous, I would just stay with him. The only thing he doesn't like is that Velcro noise. That was the only thing I found he wasn't really fond of. Otherwise, I just usually put my rope on my arm, kind of put it over, and he's good about this too, so he's used to this guy. If they were to get goofy, I'll slap it on there and then back them up and make them move around with it so they can get used to the feel of it on their head. But he's good with that. And our saddle. So I can't stress enough, hit them with this thing, the saddle pad, as much as possible till they stand like this, relax. He's gonna fall asleep. So they're just really comfortable with this, because you never know if you go to throw it on and oh, it's gonna be like that and it might fall off or whatever. You want them to just be totally okay with that. Same thing with the saddle. So I throw the saddle on and off probably 20 times each session the first few days. So if you want an arm workout, this is what you do. But originally, to get them used to it, I kind of just do this motion first, and then I'll throw it all the way on. And I do the same thing from both sides, like I said, a good 10 to 20 times. If they were to move when you're throwing it on, then you just go back to lifting it up and down right here by their side till they stand, and then you stop. And then you keep doing this, and then you stop. I'll move this girth all over their belly, around their legs, kind of move that stirrup, because sometimes that girth will do that when you throw it on them, and you want them to not be worried about that. And notice I always have my rope on my arm, so I have it. I don't wrap it around. If they were to spook, you'd hurt your fingers. Sometimes you can hold it all like this. It just gets to be a lot. So this way, if he were to do anything, I still got him in my elbow. So a little trick with cinching that I will show you. This works for young horses or if you have a broke horse that's really cinchy, this is the trick. So I put the girth just snug. So I want it just snug enough, right about there where it's on. If he moves around, it's not going anywhere. Right there, he's getting in my space. It's not going anywhere, and if he were to freak out, it won't completely slip over. And I'm just gonna walk him a couple steps. And then I'm gonna cinch it a little bit more. Walk him a couple more steps. It's a little distracted over there. Cinch it up some more. Walk him a couple steps. Same thing again. I just let the end hang because it desensitizes them even more. Doing it that way, that was maybe four or five times, just little cinches here and there. They don't end up getting all nervous about the saddle being cranked really tight. They won't be biting at you like some cinchy horses do. They won't be kicking at their belly. And especially with the babies, it's nice to do it that way because if you just tighten it up all the way like a broke horse, they will be like, and then they usually start bucking and freaking out and just take off or do anything like that. So it's really important to cinch that way. I cinch all my horses that way, and I never have any of them trying to bite me or doing anything. It takes 2 extra seconds to do it that way, and it's a lot nicer for the horse. So that's my recommendation. Then once they get cinched up, I make sure I can flap these stirrups without them going anywhere. Good boy! Good job! I let the stirrup bang on their belly. I do all this after I've lunged them one time with a saddle, usually. Sometimes I break it down and I'll saddle them and kind of move the stirrups a little bit before I lunge them, get them desensitized to that. And then I let them run around and kind of buck with it and get used to it. I want them to do that on both sides, just flap everything, smack the saddle, make as much noises as you can with it, so nothing scares them. And then I put their bridle on. I also, the first time I saddle them, since I don't have a round pen, I lunge them on the rope, and if they buck or whatever, I just have them keep moving. Sometimes they'll drag me around, I just keep pulling them back. Once they've gotten some circles out of them, they're not bucking anymore, they're listening to their groundwork again, then I end up just turning them out here and let them have the saddle on for an hour or 2. They'll start to freak themselves out with it and kind of run around a little bit, and then they just learn that it's not a big deal, and that makes a world of difference. And then they're not too concerned about the saddle anymore. These guys wear the bit as well. So the first few times you put the bit in, they're going to chomp quite a bit. Chomp, chomp, chomp. They'll be so distracted with the bit, they don't really pay attention to you. But then once they wear it enough, they might chomp a little bit in the beginning and then they forget it's in there. So this is kind of all the steps I do leading up. This is all stuff he's done. I'm going to just move him around a little bit. He's pretty lazy. I haven't done a lot of hard lunging with him, just teaching him how to go on the rope nicely. He used to stop a lot when I first started, so this is pretty good for him. Visit his buddies. Ah, there you go. Throw the rope over him. Make sure he's not worried about that. He's a pretty calm horse. He has a pretty good head on his shoulders, so I don't have to do a lot of like really making him work to pay attention to me or want to bond with me. He's pretty much like, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. Aren't ya?